welcome back to the Business Spotlight podcast here with Action Coach Northwest. I'm your host, Lauren, and today we have Brian Cronin of U District Physical Therapy here to chat all things business. So I always like to kick things off to learn a little bit about how your business got started. So hello, tell me how your business began.
Yeah, glad to be here. Excited to be here. Well, 21 years, actually 21 years this week, we opened our business. We started in downtown Spokane in an old warehouse that we converted into a physical therapy and sports training facility for young athletes. We were able to go into this warehouse because it was relatively very inexpensive to be there for 8,000 square feet. It was in a rough part of town. My two original business partners, Jeff Hart, I went to physical therapy school with. And then he was also working with Mike Nielsen, who is a former Gonzaga basketball player and was working as a strength coach for the Gonzaga athletic department. And so we teamed up 21 years ago to start this company. And we've 21 years later, we have grown it to 3 different locations and employ just over 60 people. And we're doing physical therapy. We're also doing sports training for kids still, and we're doing adult personal training. We have aquatic therapy programs, and then we own a couple of our buildings. So we're also doing kind of real estate management and helping other healthcare entities, massage therapy, sports medicine facilities. Dr. Laura Freilich here in town just opened up Northwest Exercise and Sports Medicine, and she's one of our tenants here in the building. And so we're just kind of working on a collaborative system of working with other healthcare entities, all kind of in the same building, just trying to provide the best customer service that we can to our clients.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. All right, well, kind of going into that origin story from 21 years ago, if you had to start from square one in business, what would you do differently?
Well, there's definitely a lot of things that I didn't know. Now, on one hand, it's kind of nice going into it not knowing a lot because it really made me dive into learning. I really didn't know anything about the business side. I practiced as a physical therapist 2 years in the greater Seattle area, and I knew how to provide physical therapy services, but I didn't know anything about the business side. I'd never really seen profit loss statement, a break-even analysis. I didn't understand how payroll taxes worked, business taxes worked. So, doing it over again, I wish I would have had a little bit more understanding of that, say like with a business degree or something like that. That to me makes a lot of sense. But at the same time, I kind of really enjoyed the process of diving in and learning. One of our great assets was having a partner in Mike Nielsen that had a business background who really helped teach and educate the 2 other owners on that were physical therapists. Most healthcare practitioners don't get a lot of business management teaching in their graduate schools or in their programs. That's just not the focus. The focus is turning you into the best clinician that you can in whatever field that you're going into. And so business management is really not part of it. And so if you want to start your own, you got to do a lot of self-learning, or you need to partner with other people that know that. And that's what we did. And so grateful for that we had somebody with that business background to really help teach us along the way, because it takes a couple years to learn. The problem is, I think that most businesses are either going to make it or not going to make it. So it's hard to be learning that while you're trying to make your business go, so that in a couple of years you still have a viable business. That's a challenge. And some people love the challenge. I love the challenge. Some people get overwhelmed with the challenge and they're just like, this is not for me. My small business is just not going to work. We're going to try something different.
That's awesome. So kind of going off of that, what has been one of your biggest learnings as an employer since you began?
Well, what I really wholeheartedly believe in is that your business needs to have a mission statement, core values that you wholeheartedly believe in. This has to be authentic. I think that there's a lot of people out there that can put a phrase on the internet or on the website, or they can put a plaque in their entry waiting room that says this is who we are. But is it authentic? And you really have to believe in it from the top down, let's say from the ownership all the way through every employee, you have to then recruit and hire people that believe in it. You need to have people that believe in it. I think if people believe in it, they're more likely to have a lot of job satisfaction, loyalty. They're going to stay on. We have people that have been here. We actually, our very first employee that we hired 21 years ago is still here today,
No way.
and which I think is very unusual. And so you have to have a mission statement and a product that you believe in. The other thing is, I think you have to have the understanding of developing systems in your business. You have to systematize what you're doing, learn how to work on your business, not just in your business. And I think healthcare practitioners are notorious for this, is that they just focus on patient care, patient care, patient care, and they work on their schedule and they're just like, I'm busy, I'm busy, I'm busy, but they never develop the business. And we learned early on is that the concept of creating all these systems will help you navigate growth and kind of systematic growth without as much headaches, or kind of like, what do we do now? I don't know what we do because we don't have a system for it. So have a system for it, but really the concept of working on your business and not just in your business. Those are things that I learned early on that I think have really set us up. Why a small business in healthcare has been able to make it for 20 plus years, which is really hard. I think running a small business in any industry is very, very challenging. Throw it into healthcare and it's even more challenging. Can you compete as a small business? And if you can make it, it's usually because you're backing it up with good systems, understanding how it is, and then recruiting and getting employees that believe in what you're doing.
Amazing. Kind of similar to that, what are qualities you look for in employees and how do you foster a positive and productive work environment?
Years ago, we switched some of our hiring tactics. So we advertise our what is our mission statement and what are our core values. Instead of just focusing on we have a part-time front desk opening, we have a full-time physical therapy position open. You can get flooded with a lot of inquiries that may not pan out. So we really start with, here's what we do, here's what we believe. If you have any interest to this, or that grabs your attention, or that's something that you think you might believe in or want to be a part of, contact us and we'll have some different positions that might be open. So I think you got to really recruit to your core values. So that is something that we've done, and it just attracts a lot of great people right there. Now, we're very lucky that we're in an industry that naturally, I think, attracts a lot of good people, that they're hard workers, they're empathetic towards other people. They generally just want to help people. That is a huge asset from our industry, but to our business. There's great people out here that want to work in these type of industries. You just have to find the right ones, and then obviously get them on board and proper onboarding processes and development, and then retention. How do you keep them on your team? But we're lucky that we're an industry that attracts good people.
I love that. Now, what are some common misconceptions about running a business and how do you address them?
Well, I think that you hear some people that are like, yeah, I want to start a business because I want to make a lot of money. Or you hear people that are like, I want to start a business because I have a good idea and I think it's easy to do it. And I think you're going at it the wrong way. If you're starting a business purely just to make money, I think it's kind of backwards. I think if you're starting a business because you're like, I think that's the easier thing to do, I think you're in for a big surprise. If you're going to do it, you have to be somebody that really works hard. You have to be somebody that is really good at problem solving. And I think you have to be somebody that's really good with communication and working with your team or your staff and working on problems and conflict resolution. If you're not willing to do those couple things there, I'm not sure ownership should be in your future. Maybe management of some sort or working your way up. But if you want to be an owner, there's just a lot of behind the scenes work, a lot of liability, a lot of time put into solving issues, solving problems, foresighting how we're going to project, how we're going to grow and continue to develop people. So you have to find people that are willing to do that. And if that's not you, then I wouldn't recommend getting involved.
That's fair. Now, earlier you mentioned you have 3 locations now and you've gotten into real estate. What do you attribute your growth to?
Well, I think we have a product that the public needs. I think that health and wellness services are something that we need, is something that we will always need. I think the greater Spokane industry, with 4 distinct seasons, a very active community, it generates a need for rehab services because people are getting hurt. And if you're in a climate that has 1 season, people are doing the same thing. I think it's a different scenario than 4 different distinct seasons where you have a lot of activities going on. People are picking up activities, different ones throughout the year. There's more opportunities to have injuries or pain, or so there's just a huge need for it. So I think that's one of them. I think so that naturally just leads to growth there. But then I think is really attracting the right people to grow on your team. We started 21 years ago with 4 people and just have slowly just added more people because there's just a need, and we just keep kind of building our base where more and more people just need our services. So we just slowly have grown that way. I think that we're strategically located in good areas that have people that need our services. So I don't think you want to go out there and just open a place anywhere that has for sale sign or has an open lease space. You want to make sure you're in the right area that has people. I think Spokane generally, people like to have convenience on how to get to that facility. They don't want to be, if you live on the north side, they typically don't want to drive to the South Hill, or if you're South Hill, they don't want to go all the way to the valley. You want to be strategic with that. We also have some unique facilities. The main one right here by Gonzaga, we have a large space, 25,000 square feet, which is pretty unusual for this industry. Lots of places to run and jump and exercise. So we're not just boxed into a couple thousand square foot facility. So I think location, the type of clinics that you offer, and then, having the right people, I think has just led us to nice gradual growth over the years.
That's incredible. Now, sounds like you're pretty busy. How do you balance your personal life with the demands of running a business?
Now, this is a great question. People always talk about work-life balance, and I'm not sure I'm a big believer in the word balance in this case. I like to say harmony. I think that the people that are looking for this perfect balance of work, home and at work, I think it fluctuates throughout the year because you have busier times, you have other things going on. What I strive for is harmony, where I know that there's certain times of the year I'm just way more busier doing this than that. But I think you got to be really good at communicating to your family and to your kids, to your coworkers, on where your energy needs to be put into. And then I think you got to do a heck of a job taking care of yourself. I was just in a conversation this morning talking to a physical therapy student that I've noticed that high functioning people, great leaders, great business people, they seem to be good at taking care of themselves and have built in really good routines, whether that's exercising, whether that's just getting out and taking the dog for a walk. They're doing something that feeds their spirit. What makes them a better version of themselves? And you need to find that. I personally I call them zone activities, where I go out and I do something that I am really concentrated on that activity. Mountain biking, for example, try to get out on the bike 3 or 4 times a week. When I'm mountain biking, I'm not thinking about other things because it's not safe to. I have to be thinking exactly about what's happening right in front of me. But from that, I get to clear my mind. I feel like it clears my mind for the rest of the day. So I think finding that zone activity for you, what works for you personally, that gets you away from thinking about all the things you have to do in your daily routine, whether it's at home, whether it's at work. What can you clear your mind for? Because then all of a sudden, I think you're a better thought processor. You're better at working with other people. You communicate better. And then you get better idea development because your brain is freed up, I think, to think about things. And if you want to have a small business that moves forward, you need to be taking care of things today, but you also need to be what's happening in the future. What's your foresight capability? Are you thinking what's happening 6 months from now, a year from now? Do you have the ability to do that? And I think the really good entrepreneurs, the really good owners have the ability to think about the future, how you're going to get there. Can you communicate that to your team? But have the ability to do that, because there's a lot of people that I know that they're really good in the now, but if you ask them about, well, what's going to happen a year from now, they don't. It's just not part of their thought process. They don't know how to do that.
That's a good point. Kind of looking ahead, actually, speaking of the future, where do you see yourself in 5 years, and any words of advice for other business owners looking to grow their business?
Well, I've really tried over the last couple of years to diversify what our business is doing, but what I'm doing inside of that. We developed a leadership coaching program here at U District, You Inspire Leadership. We just graduated our 50th person in that. So I'm one of the leadership coaches, and so I'm taking not only people on our team, but we're taking outside businesses through it. So we're taking so I'm doing leadership coaching on a weekly basis. I've also just started teaching at Whitworth University. They have a new physical therapy or newer physical therapy school, and I'm teaching the business management course there and for physical therapists, and just started 2 weeks ago, actually. And so I'm trying to do more teaching, trying to help people, essentially all learning everything that I've learned in the last 20 years and trying to present that in a manner that is appropriate for students, so that when they get out, they'll have a better understanding of the business side. Doesn't matter if you work in an outpatient clinic or in a hospital or a rehab setting, that you do have an understanding of how the business works behind you. So I see myself for the next 5 years is leadership coaching and teaching the business management courses, and then just keep working on developing the leaders and our team here at U District.
That's incredible. And then I like to finish it off with, what question should I be asking you that I haven't yet?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think you should ask owners, business, are they having fun? Do you enjoy what you do?
Ooh, that is a good question. Yes.
I think, because I meet so many new people every day. Like today, I had 2 new patients this morning. I get to work with them, so I get to see people, and I'm just always curious how many people are actually enjoying what they're doing on a daily basis. I'm lucky to say that I'm one of those that I thoroughly enjoy what I do. Somebody said, you're going to win the lottery next week. Am I retiring and not doing what I'm doing? No, I'm going to keep doing exactly what I'm doing. I like what I do. I love what I do. I think it's an interesting question just to ask people in general. If you reflect on your current role, what you're doing in the business world or at your company, are you having fun? Are you enjoying what you're doing? And I think that is something that a lot of people should reflect on, and hopefully, and I just hope that more and more people get to say, yes, they enjoy what they're doing. Is this, you get one shot at this. And so, we're not here forever. Hopefully that you're enjoying what you're doing.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much, Brian. I really appreciate your time. For our followers and watchers, make sure you check out U District Physical Therapy below. We'll have a little link, and come back for more of the podcast episodes.